Benjamin, this is really the crux of a crucial issue of who's a journalist in Gaza, who's a civilian, even in this operation in which the Palestinians are claiming 200-300 civilians killed in Nusrat. But the question is, if they were trying to prevent or the freeing of those hostages or even trying to alert Hamas about them, does that make them legitimate targets?
Look, I think civilians inside the Gaza Strip are given far too much grace, to be perfectly frank, and I think that everybody denies that they have any agency in the fact that many of them voted for and elected a genocidal jihadist government regime inside Gaza called Hamas, which at the center of its charter calls for the elimination and destruction not only of Israel but of Jews, and they voted for it en masse, knowing that, and nobody can claim they did not know for that which they voted once Hamas actually acted out its mandate from the people. I can also tell you as an Israeli that I look at the success of the extraction of the 4 hostages with absolute jubilation, and to be perfectly frank, as unpalatable as some may consider this to be, I'm not overly concerned about Hamas's numbers that they put forward when it comes to the civilians who were killed in the course of that strike, because the duty of the Israel Defense Establishment is to bring back our hostages, and they have my full trust, backing and faith in the scruples by which they operate in every single situation, including this one. People have to stop dealing in what's called the soft bigotry of low expectations when it comes to the civilians inside the Gaza Strip. They know what they're doing, they did what they did, and guess what? When you empower a regime to go forward, murder 1,200 people, kidnap 240 people, hold them as hostages, right, this is what happens.
But I do have to say, and Ariel, I want you to weigh in on this, Benjamin. As a journalist, I've worked with journalist Palestinians in Gaza as a journalist. Some of them who I know, some of them their families. And again, especially in that regard, it's a difficult question, even while taking in exactly what you said.
I'll go even a step further, Kalev, by saying that I think it's virtually impossible to be a journalist inside Gaza and not have ties, relations with Hamas in one form or another, because in the Gaza Strip there's no such thing as the free press. Everything is under the close scrutiny of Hamas and its information ministry, as well as its other propaganda outlets. And so if you're looking for reporting originating from Gaza, unfortunately it's almost impossible to find someone without any connections. On the other hand, I will just note to what was commented here, that even if we look at the Gaza population as a whole, there are still thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands who did not vote for Hamas and do find themselves in this tragic situation of war brought to them by Hamas almost fully, because Hamas carried out this attack knowing that there would be civilian casualties. At the end of the day, they're victims, I would say, of both sides.
Briefly, just if you want to respond.
Yeah, just 2 points. In Ariel's brilliant report there, that wasn't a journalist with connections to Hamas. Those were journalists celebrating.
Right, we understand that.
The first one was with connections.
But also the other thing is, remember the scenes in the street when our soldiers and our captives were taken into Gaza, tens, hundreds, thousands cheering.